Welcome to Heal the World Show podcast, brought to you by the Healing Institute. I'm Pramelia Parham, and I am the founder and the CEO of the Healing Institute. We are an online worldwide hub of holistic practitioners, and we are out to heal the world. I know it's a big job, but we are up for it. We want to give people hope. We want to give people alternative ways to be well and stay well on their health journey, because let's face it, we're all on a health journey. I have been using holistic ways of being well for well over 30 years, so I know that it works. And you might be asking why this is so important to me. Why did I create the Healing Institute? Well, we did have a tragedy in our family a number of years ago where my mom passed away at a very young age. She was only 61. And it was due to complications because of a medication that she had been on. Now, she'd been on this medication for over 20 years, and not once did her doctor tell her that there could be side effects and they could affect her kidneys. So unfortunately, she passed away on December 15th, just before Christmas. I was 5 months pregnant with my son, my first child. And it's not only a tragedy that she died at such a young age, it's a tragedy that my children never got to meet their grandmother. And I don't want that happening for any other families. So that's why I'm really passionate about educating about how we can be well and how we can stay well. It's one of the reasons I called the Healing Institute an institute, because I'm so passionate about education and telling people and giving people the knowledge so that they can make their own choices. So each week on Heal the World Show podcast, I invite a guest co-host to come and talk to me, and we have a conversation. We just, between us, we have a conversation around what they do and their area of expertise. This is December, and so the theme in December is the Giving Month. This is actually our 75th episode. We've been doing this now for a year and a half. So I'm just so very delighted and excited to have Reverend Dr. Kimmy here as my guest co-host, all the way from California, I believe. Yes, yes,
Yes.
right. And so please welcome. I'm delighted to have you here. Tell us a little bit about
Yeah.
you and how you got started in on your journey.
Well, my name is Reverend Dr. Kimmy, and I am a spiritual life coach. I am an energy healer, and I do host a couple of podcasts as well. One as a co-host. As far as how I got here, you know, 2016 was really hard for me, and with the pandemic closing in, I felt a little more isolated. And it was a little, I was going through some things just internally. And I started looking inward and doing,
Mhm.
because I was having panic attacks and no one could figure out what was wrong or why. And so they were like, "Oh, do mindfulness, do this, do this." And I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out. I've done meditation when I was younger. I just never felt I was really good at it. So then I just started doing it more and more. My energy chakras would kick in. To make a long story short, that was like, that's new. But I was in school at the same time for my doctorate in metaphysics, and it was all these little things were coming together. But I think when it came to the pain, it was about healing myself. As and I have a lot of nerve pain, and sometimes that affects me in weird ways. And I was in the mall around Christmas time, actually around this time a couple years ago, where I felt so much pain, and I just sat down and put everything into practice that I had read, and all, and boom, pain went away. I was able to keep on walking and everything. And I think that was the first time it kind of clicked that, okay, we have the ability to heal ourselves, but I just did. I just did that. So with that, and a lot of my friends always in pain or something, because we all have these aches and pains these days, I think that took me onto the healer path more, as opposed to coaching. I love coaching, but the healer path really, because both of those are forms of healing anyway.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
And energy healing. So, but yeah, that's what really I think got me. Just that whole, it was a couple rough years.
Well, and that's so true for so many of us that we do have we start on our own path.
Mhm.
And you and I spoke earlier before we started recording was that um, I was also searching, and had no idea that I was going to turn my searching, it was going to become a business. But it was so true, because once you start to feel better yourself, and once you start to have that more awareness of how to be well, and you start to, I started reading books, and authors like Joe Dispenza, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and Bruce Lipton, and Greg Braden. I started to read all of those authors that talk about healing themselves, or the fact that our bodies are so amazing, and can actually heal ourselves. And
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
part of, the Healing Institute education, is letting people know that there are people out there that have done that, like yourself. So we need to show ourselves as an example, for people to understand that it's not just giving away our power to someone else to fix us, because we have our bodies are such amazing instruments, that we have the capability, completely and absolutely, of making sure that we are healed, but we haven't been taught
Yeah.
that. So the
Right, because as a healer, you're not, I don't heal anyone. I'm facilitating your internal healing. I am just a conduit. If you are accepting of me putting my energy and helping you, once that happens and you commit, you've already made your intention that you are going to heal your body. You, it's all about that. You got to be,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes, for sure. And also, I think, I believe that as we become more and more aware of the energy that we have, we haven't been raised or taught about the vibrational frequency that's in the world, and how
No.
we are all connected by
Mm-hmm,
this
mm-hmm,
vibratory grid. And
mm-hmm.
so we do have that frequency, and we are able to do that. And we can attract that frequency that will keep us in that higher level of vibration, so that we are attracting all the good that we should be having in our life, and
Right.
and the joy that, I certainly believe we're here to be joyful. So
Yes.
so yeah, so tell us a little bit about some of the clients that you work with, and how they benefit from working with you. Our audience always likes to know that.
Well, when it comes to the coaching, I've been doing more of that through the podcast. So that's more of an interaction in that level. When it comes to the healing, I do virtual healing sessions on my website. If you sign up for a session, I can sit here. We can even plan the whole session. So I do healing virtually. Um, at first, I think I always thought that was not a thing, but now I know it's a thing because energy is energy.
Energy is energy, and it's
Right. It
everywhere.
doesn't
Yes,
matter. Yeah. So I
I
do
know.
that more. If you're local, I do it locally. But the benefits really I've noticed, I know I had one client where she didn't even know where she had pain. She just wanted to, what did she call it? Like, give me a tune up
Mhm.
issue, energy. And so I'm just, because you start to, okay, I got to feel on the body. And that's why I like it in person more, because I can literally
Yes.
feel. But like, I'm like, did you hurt your knee? And she's like, yes. I'm like, so because there's different levels of energy, how you feel like a cold
Yes.
spot or something feels out of whack. It communicates, their energy system communicates with your energy field as you're setting the intention to heal, plus setting your intention to, you're being present and
Right.
finding. So she felt great after, and it was weird because I just usually if someone says something specific, if
Mhm.
you say something
And you can
specific, I'll
you
just
can
write them down.
key into that specific thing, but
Right, right. But
when
if
they
I'm
say, "I
not
don't know, I
looking,
don't know,"
right, she was like, just give me a tune up. I'm like, okay.
okay.
And that's the first time anyone ever said it like that. Usually it's like, my head hurts. Oh, let me see if I can help your head. Right. But yeah, it was just so funny. So I was like, that's just one of my best stories, because it was just like, she loved it because it was an hour session. I normally don't do a whole hour, but I did a whole hour. I found all these little hiccups that she didn't even know she had, but the knee one was funny because I was like, did you just hurt it? She's like, yes, I did. I was like, oh, well, I found it. You didn't have to tell me. You tripped in the kitchen. Something happened. So yeah,
And
but
when
it's
I
really
was first studying with my energy healer, my energy teacher, that I was searching for back when I was looking,
Mhm.
and she just showed up because I was like, okay.
Right.
Just met her, and then we did study Reiki. We did, we were in a classroom situation, and so we
Mhm.
would we would actually work with each other with
Oh,
Reiki.
good.
And so it was, and so I basically have my Reiki 1 certificate, but I now that I work with body code and emotion code work, again, it's energy. And so a lot of people will ask me, similar to what you were saying, well, how can you do it? How can you do it over Zoom? And I'm like, well, because energy is energy and
Yes.
it's
And
everywhere.
and
So,
with people are not tuned in, and well, let me not say it that way because people are tuned in, but a lot of times we ignore a lot of the sensations in our body
mhm,
for
mhm,
numerous reasons. So when it comes to being an energy sensitive, I've always been a sensitive person. I've had audio clear when I was younger, but I turned a lot of that off. When you're young, you're like, ew, people are in my head. No, like just shut everything down. So you start going through an awakening and you start feeling things. I can feel I've sat next to people in the nail salon and was like, oh, this girl is so sad. Why is she sad? And then I'm like, oh, it's a boy. Like, and I'm looking, and I'm not even being nosy. It's just, it happens. So when you start to be able to pick up and realize that thing, and you realize that, yeah, you can feel it over anything. I can feel people when they're doing their little Reiki and stuff on different platforms. And I think a lot of people also confuse that different levels of healing are so different when in actuality it's just a modality of how you're accomplishing it. I've studied quantum healing. I've studied Reiki, Egyptian Reiki, which is basically adding some things, and it's really cool. But quantum healing, you could look at monks, the Shaolin monks, they do. So there's all these different ways to work with your chi and your energy. And when we're not tuned into it and not understanding that we're feeling it, we can get a little lost. Like that, people say to do like this and you rub
yes,
your hands. Those exercises do work when you are
absolutely.
trying to
Yeah.
feel. Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to just acknowledge we do have a guest today. He's in the green room. We're leaving him there for now, but
There's no donuts.
so I just want to welcome Ryan Ferreros. He's a wonderful support of the Healing Institute. So hi, Ryan. I'll leave you in the back room again, and I just wanted to acknowledge you. And also he says he loves this conversation. Such beautiful energy right now. So. Thanks for popping in, and we'll pop you back out, and then we'll see you a bit later. I always like to acknowledge people that take the time to come and visit us while we're having our podcast, because it's greatly appreciated for sure.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think we're definitely on the trajectory, if you will, of bringing awareness to people, sort of what I call mainstream society, who maybe haven't heard of some of the modalities that we do, or haven't heard of energy healing or emotional healing or quantum physics. They don't quite know what that is. And I love the fact that more and more people are getting tuned into it and making that understanding for themselves, so that they can be as healthy as possible. Because when
Yeah.
we're well, we do well. When we feel good, we do good. And we need all of us here on this planet, in Earth School. I love that term.
Yes, exactly.
We need all of us to be feeling the best that we can possibly feel, and being the best we can possibly be, so we can raise the vibration of the planet. And
Mhm.
I know we want to really be able to give people uh, hope that there are ways for them to, to be feeling joy, and be in bliss. And so then they can be the best versions of themselves. definitely.
Exactly. We're here, like you said, Earth School. We're here to, some of us are here on different missions. I wrote a post about this the other day, but like we're all on different missions, but your unique light
Mhm.
is just one bulb in like an orchestra of lights, right? Like, so we're all coming together to make this beautiful spotlight, right? That just shines on, shines humanity on humanity, and we can get that consciousness level up there, right? And chef's kiss, I've always been a science geek. I love that quantum physics just
Oh, I love
happens,
science.
right?
Yes.
I was just like, so I've been spiritual and a science geek, and I'm a sci-fi person. When I first was going through my spiritual awakening, the first thing out of my mouth was, my life is a sci-fi movie. Yeah, yeah, it's a sci-fi movie. I'm not in Star Wars or Star Trek. It is what it is. So with that, like we're all, then that's what comes into the spirit of giving, like, because
Yes.
we all have to be operating from our, not just our heart chakra, but our upper heart chakra. We need
Yeah.
to be connected to that unconditional love, because that is what will bring humanity together
Yes.
and
Yeah.
keep the light rising, so we
Yeah.
go into 2025 and beyond.
And I believe also we need to connect our heart chakra with our throat chakra.
Oh yes,
We need to speak our truth, but we need to
yes,
speak up as well. We need to let people know. We need to articulate what we're feeling and how we see when we see the world in a joyful, joyous, beautiful place. We need to talk about it. We need to let
right,
other people know that that's a possibility,
right.
that they can do that. They can do that as well. And it's so important for, for us as humans, to not get caught up in kind of our everyday, nitty gritty. And so many people, I think, because this is how we've been programmed over the years, kind of spiral into the negative, all the
Mm.
things that aren't happening, all the things that they would like to happen that aren't happening for them. But given, a little more expansion of realizing, one of the things I learned through the law of attraction is the vibration I get out is the vibration I get back. So I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay, well then I want to be
right,
giving out good vibrations, because those are the ones I
right,
that I want back. I don't want the
right,
the negative vibrations. So, I put a lot of things into my life. I don't read mainstream newspaper. I don't watch mainstream news. And now that we know so much of it is orchestrated to be negative and to feed uh, the lack that people are maybe feeling that they don't have in their life. I'm very, very conscious about not having any of that in my life, because I don't want that vibration.
yeah,
I want to
yeah,
keep my
and
vibration high.
that negative vibration that they try to keep us in is on purpose. And I hate to sound like maybe some people are like, what is show? But it really is on purpose, because when you
Mhm.
keep people in a low vibrational state, they don't question anything. They are their mind is mush. They tell them anything, they will figure it. They'll follow you. When you start to awaken and you start to understand how the universe works and the different layers of the vibrational dimensions, all of that jazz, you throw that with quantum physics, that's great. But to the
Mm.
average person, if you're not, if you don't have that I can't think of the word, but that ability to pull yourself out of that, you're going to go down this negative spiral and not be able to be the light that you are.
Yes, that's
And
right.
and they do it on purpose to keep our light down, but it's rising. We can see it everywhere. It may
Yes.
seem daunting, but it's everywhere.
Yes, I agree with you. And more people are awakening. And of course, we're
Mm.
hearing that as well with the predictions that are coming for 2025. I don't know about you, but I am so excited for 2025. I
I
loved
am.
2024. There was a lot of things that were, that were challenges, I will admit, for me
Mhm,
personally and for my company.
mhm,
But it added up to an 8. And I'm not really big into numerology, but I do know that 8 is a very important number. Well, 2025 adds up to 9. And 9 spiritually is a very high energy number. So
Yes.
I'm very excited for 2025. And when
I wanted to be my birthday, which is in a couple of months, because there is an eclipse, a lunar eclipse on my birthday. And I
mm,
don't remember ever that happened. And I swear I'm going to have to go out and talk to the moon that night.
yeah, absolutely, for sure.
Like, that's a manifest day for real. But like, I feel the same way. Like 2024, a lot of it, because I have been one of those people where I've looked at the news. I don't absorb it. I don't even pay attention anymore. But now it's more like it's a TV show. Like,
Oh, really?
"Hey, that's what you're," and I make the face like, okay, so I'm not like believing anything. I'm just more or less trying to just make sure I am aware of
Yeah,
where the collective consciousness is actually flowing. Sometimes it's not even flowing that way. It's just a matter of seeing what's out there, because we have different timelines that are going on. When you look at when you talk on social media or across wherever platform you're doing, if that person's not right in front of you, and even if they are, their reality is not the same. You're just looking at it through a mirror or a looking glass, if you will. So just to be observant of what's happening. But I feel like we're setting up a lot of this energy, and 2025 is going to be, in my view, like full blown age of Aquarius, full blown truths being exposed, full blown love, because we're seeing it now. We're seeing it now. It's just blooming right now.
I agree. And when we were talking about the subject that we were going to talk about today about the spirit of giving,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I kind of picked the theme for December as the giving month because there's a lot of giving that goes on. Uh, and I wasn't thinking about it from a materialistic point of view. I was
Right.
thinking of it from from a very heartfelt, lots of love that flows around at this time of year. Lots of
Mm-hmm.
giving that you give of yourself sometimes, not just things, but you give
Right.
it you take some time to go visit a neighbor or all the types of giving that there could possibly be.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
we need that. We need to do that 12 months of the year,
Yes,
not
it's
just at this time of the year.
exactly a lot of that. I try my best to do paying it forward whenever I can, or see that I can help somebody, whether it's just giving someone change in the front of me in line, or just saying a compliment to somebody that you
Yes.
don't know, like, "Ooh, your hair is great, girl. What are you doing?" Like, it doesn't really matter as long as you're being your authentic self and
Yes.
showing that you are a caring, heartfelt, and you're operating from your heart center. You are going to radiate a room, and
Yes.
we just need people to do that all the time. It's this time of year, it just seems like, of course, the holidays, and there's one thing in our collective consciousness, is that this is the giving time of year. And
Yes.
like you said, from that materialistic point, when I was younger, yeah. But and I love my baubles. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't love my baubles. I love my little baubles. But when I was younger, it was kind of like, when you're a kid, you go, I remember the time I found out Santa wasn't real. I had stayed up and I looked and I said, I see them. I see them. But I didn't say anything because I'm a spoiled little brat. And I just go, I would like, and it's made a longer list, and they're like, what is wrong with, no, but now I just rather bake or spend time with friends or give back where I can. And so that's the kind of thing we need to really, going into 2025, I think we all should be more mindful of that
Very.
and give more as much as we can. I know we're all tired and worn out from things, but as much as you can and as little as you can, because there's no, when you're giving from your heart, there's no too big or too small.
That's right. Yeah. And there's no right gift or wrong gift. I mean, when you're giving from your heart, you're giving however you give, however you have the opportunity to give, whenever the opportunity arises,
Mm-hmm.
and you're giving of yourself, because you really genuinely want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need to, I think, make more and more and more and more happening throughout the year of
Yes.
2025. So
Yes.
we need to make 2025 the year of giving, the
That's a good
spirit
way.
and
Yeah.
the year of giving.
Right. Exactly. That's good. The year of giving.
I love it.
Because of course,
Well,
Aquarius, Age of Aquarius is about community. So we're going to
yes.
be coming together. So that fits right in with that.
Well, this has been delightful to have you on the podcast and have a conversation. I'm so glad that you were able to make it. And
Thank you.
so yes, we'll put I've put the information how to connect with you in the chat. I also, when I distribute this recording later today, I'll make sure I put all that information in the chat. We distribute it on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram. So make sure all of your contact
Oh,
information.
I have to get your Instagram. I gotta find that.
Yes. So people will be able to reach you and connect with you. And we have a vision with the Healing Institute. We're a community of health practitioners. So if you come to the Healing Institute for, let's say you're looking at body code work, because that's what I do, I'm not hanging on to you just because you came to me first. If we have a whole community of practitioners, so we want all the practitioners to be available to you, and they are available to you for whatever you need. We have a big ask. We're out to heal the world. So please, please share this podcast with all your community, your family, your friends, all your contacts. Let them know that we have this amazing platform of holistic practitioners that are available for you. And I'm just going to finish with our motto. Our motto at the Healing Institute is service with love. And that's how we feel. We are really serving. We're really serving with love, right straight from our heart. All of the practitioners are amazing, heart-centered, and we want to be there. We are there. We are there for you when you need us. So thank you again, Dr. Kimmy, for being part of the podcast today. And we are going to take a couple of weeks break, and we'll be back in the new year with Heal the World Show podcast.